In the last video, I was just finishing up factoring my numerator, which was a quadratic trinomial. So I got to this part in purple down here. And so I have my matching parentheses right here, these repeated parentheses of n minus 4. So that's one of my factors. And my other factor is what I've factored out, the n minus 1. So those are my two factors, n minus 1, n minus 4. Okay, so I can cancel anything that's in the numerator that's also in the denominator. It doesn't matter which side. They could be right on top of each other, or they can kind of go one on the top here and one on the bottom over here. Because this is multiplication, everything in the numerator can be multiplied in any order, and anything in the denominator can be multiplied in any order. So it doesn't have to be one up here and one down there. It could be one here and one there. Doesn't matter. So really, I'm going to cross off these n minus 4s. Those cancel out. That's equal to 1. And then I can pick. I can cancel this n minus 1 with this n minus 1, or this n minus 1 with this n minus 1. It really doesn't matter. 4 and 6, if we reduce 4 over 6, that's 2 over 3. And that's what I'm left with. These n's do not cancel. The whole entire factor has to be the same for it to cancel. So my final answer is 2 times the quantity, n minus 1, divided by 3 times the quantity, n plus 1. Just what's left in the numerator, what's left in the denominator. Okay, number 6 is division. So I have to keep, change, flip when I'm dividing fractions. So keep, I keep this one exactly how it is. No, these do not cancel. They're not the same. I change the division to multiplication, and I flip this fraction. Numerator becomes denominator, denominator becomes numerator. So now I can cancel anything that's the same factor in the numerator in the denominator. So all I'm left with is x minus 3. It's in the numerator, so I don't need a 1 like I did in number 4. Technically, the denominator is 1, so you could write x minus 3 divided by 1 if you wanted to. Okay, number 7. Division again, but we've got to do some work because we have a quadratic trinomial down here. So keep, change, flip. So keep this the same. Change from division to multiplication, and flip. Numerator becomes denominator, and denominator becomes the numerator. So I have to factor y squared plus 3y plus 2. So same thing I've been doing with this table. So this is a squared. A is 1. X squared plus bx plus c, or with y's. It doesn't matter. Just a variable. So a times c is 2. There's only one option. It's 2 times 1. When you add them, you get 3. When you subtract them, you get 1. So I'm under the plus column, which means the 2 and the 1 are both the same. Not positive, they're the same. Because my b is a positive number, they're both positive. So I can factor this as y squared plus 2y plus 1y plus 2. What's common in these first two terms? A y. I'm left with y plus 2. What's common in these second two terms? Really nothing, but we can think of this as 1 times y and 2 times 1. So technically a 1 is common. I don't need to worry about any negatives or anything because everything's positive in this problem. So we don't need any negatives. So my factors end up being y plus 1 and that repeated parenthesis of y plus 2. So that's going to go in my numerator. So I'm just going to actually just erase this because I'm like just really out of room on this. So y plus 1 times y plus 2. So I put this problem on here not to be tricky, but to just make sure that you understand what cancels out. The y plus 2's do not. they're both in the numerator, those do not cancel out. Y plus 2 times y plus 2 is not 1. Y plus 1 divided by y plus 1 is 1. And this 2 and this 4 do not cancel. The whole entire quantity needs to cancel. The only reason in number 5 that the 2 and the 3 canceled is because those were both just coefficients outside the parentheses of an expression. This y plus 2 is together being multiplied. So these 2 and 4s do not cancel. So that's actually everything that I'm left with here. I'm left with y plus 2 in the numerator. I can actually write that as y plus 2 squared. And then I'm left with a 4 in the denominator. So there's my answer. Number 8 is division. It's kind of like numbers 1 and 2, but just division. There's no factoring to do because we just have monomials. So I'm going to keep, change, flip again. So keep, change to multiplication, and then flip my fraction. Okay, now I'm canceling things in the numerator and denominator that are the same. So we have 3 and we have 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 4 divided by 2 reduces. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 over 1. So let's write what I have so far. 2b cubed y cubed in the numerator and just yb in the denominator. I'm going to write by. So now think about your exponents. B to the third power means b, b, b. And then I just have one b in the denominator. So when I cancel those b's, I'm left with b squared. With my y's, I have y to the third power and then just one y. So same thing, y divided by y, cancel out those y's, and I'm left with y to the second power. In this example, I don't have anything left in the denominator, so I could put it over 1, but I don't have to. All right, done with that section. Graph and analyze the quadratic function. So we have a formula to find the vertex of a quadratic function, or a parabola is what this shape is called. So the formula to find the axis of symmetry and the x value of the vertex is x equals negative b divided by 2a. And the a, b, and c that I'm referring to are these numbers right here. A in front of the x squared, b in front of the x, and c is just the constant at the end. So opposite of b divided by 2a. B is already negative 8, so the opposite of negative 8 is positive 8. 2 times a, well, my a value is 2. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. That's the x value of my vertex. To find the y value of my vertex, I plug in a 2. So this is what I'm going to be typing into my calculator. 2 times 2 squared minus 8 times 2 plus 9. So I'm inserting that 2 everywhere I see x. So I'm going to go to my calculator. I have 2 times 2 squared minus 8 times 2 plus 9. Get 1. To fill out the rest of my table, I'm going to go greater than 2 and less than 2. And I'm going to use that same exact format, and I'm going to change these 2's, these blue 2's, to a 3, to a 4, to a 0, to a 1. So the trick in the calculator is you press up, up, enter, so you don't have to keep retyping it. So I'm changing it to a 3 and this one to a 3. Not this 2 in the front. I'm not changing that coefficient, because that's a 2. That's not where x is. Okay. 3, and then I'm going to change it to a 4. Now, because of symmetry, these 2 should be the same and these 2 should be the same, but I'm just going to make sure. So I'm going to go back to my calculator and I'm changing to a 1. I'm changing